All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushai,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Kwa,
Makah,
Kadash.
Dash.
Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. A salutation, much love to y'all. Came out there pushing out His word in truth and sincerity. And brothers from Tampa, once again, doing the weekly edification. All right, yeah, feeding the sheep, coming together and bringing out the word of Yahweh Shema Shai. And we're just gonna, like always, go through open forum, various topics, and just let Yahweh Shema Shai take over. Let the spirit flow. But before we get the scriptures, real quick, I want to get this little snippet of a book. Just a couple of sentences here of a book one of the elders had sent earlier in the stage. No, let me see if he. I think he said the title of the book. Give me 1 second. Um, it's called the book by John Maxwell. How successful people lead. How successful people lead. Okay, and this is I don't know what page it is, but it's under Why Lottery Winners Lose. Oh, select. That's the wrong one. Okay, I got it right here. Um, this is under. Well, I don't know what chapter this is, but nonetheless, let me just read it. It says, nope, that's not the one either. Slack. He sent a lot of them. Okay, here it is. I got it. Slack. It says, your philosophy is what you know, how you hold what you know, and how it affects what you do. You can look at anyone's actions and trace back through the attitudes behind those actions to their source, the philosophy behind the attitudes. Show me what a man does, and I'll show you his philosophy. All right, so pretty much what he's saying here, this man, the author, was his name Max, John Maxwell. He's saying that show me what somebody does, and he'll show you their philosophy. All right, because what you can say a lot of things, but what you show, what your actions are, is really what you portray or what you really are pushing out there, right? Because they got that saying, actions speak louder than words, right? Actions speak louder than words, and that's a very true statement. The body language, I can't remember the exact percentage, but I believe it's like 75% is body language and the rest is verbal. All right. So you can say one thing, you can say the other things, but what your body is portraying, what you're actually doing, what you're showing in action is telling everything. Okay, that's why that Mr. Maxwell, said that what he said in that serpent right there that we just read out of. All right, because things are very easily said. You can be an astronaut. You can tell everybody you're an astronaut, or you're the upcoming up Tiger Woods. But what is your actions doing? What are you actually doing? Right? What's the reality of things? And that goes into what you're doing, what your actions are, and then now to correlate that to this truth, because you can say all these things, but you're not living the life. As a matter of fact, if a brother want to grab that in Sirach, there's one that teaches many. Yep, because you can say all these things, but the actions are saying another thing. Then you're being unprofitable to yourself at the end of the day. If a brother got that John, that First John, anybody got that? Go ahead.
First John 3:18.
Yes, sir.
Mayam, you got it, bro.
I have it. I mean, I had.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Go ahead, Khanat.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. First John 3:18. It says, 18, right?
Yep.
All right. First John 3:18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
Yep. Because what your philosophy can be like, oh, I love you and I love this, love that, this, that, and the third. But what the scriptures say, let us love in truth and in deed. Meaning you show. Hey, there's not the scripture in James say, let us not be hearers
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
there.
word, but doers of the
I'm
words.
there.
Go
I'm
ahead, bring
looking
it out,
for it. I
brother.
got
Go
it's
ahead.
James 1 verse 22. But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
That's right. Because you can say one thing, you can be hearing one thing, and then you can say after you hear it, you can say certain things, but what? You have to be a doer of it. You have to show it in work and in deed and in works. Or in what it say, in the truth and in deed. Going back to that first John 3, you have to show it, you know. What Jake like to say, don't be about it, or what? Don't talk about it, be about it. Because us coming from the world. Me personally, I experienced a lot of that, man. Niggas that they claim to be your boys and claim to be this and claim to be that, man. But when it came down to it, man, they were nowhere to be found because they didn't have the work, they didn't have the deeds to prove it up, to prove it, man. All right, and Yahushua, our greatest example, Yahushua, he walked the walk, or he talked the talk, and he walked the walk. He was a man of his word, and that's what is going. That's what goes. That's what it means by loving in truth and in deed, not by word and tongue, like Judas Iscariot did. Judas Iscariot loved the Most High's only begotten Son Yahushua, kissed him, on he did all those things. But what? And in truth and in deed, he was found to be a liar because he was deceiving himself. That's why the spirit hopped on him to go hang himself. Go ahead, brother.
Uh, Continuing First John.
Uh, yeah. If there's any more on there,
Verse yeah, I'll read 19. It says, and hereby we know. I'm reading 18 again. It says, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before him.
yep. And hereby we know, because what we're doing this in deed and in truth. That's how we're gonna know that we are assured. Our hearts are assured of Him, man. Assured of Yahweh Shema Shai. We're showing the Lord that we love Him, man. By what? Treating each other as we would to Yahweh Shai, man. Look how Yahweh Shai treated His disciples. That's our best example. They got that saying in the world. What would Jesus do? What would Yahweh Shai do, man? He was our greatest example. And he did it. He didn't just do it. He didn't talk out the side of his neck. He did it out of in truth. All right. And indeed, he showed us exactly how to comport ourselves amongst the body. He showed us how to conduct ourselves amongst the world, whether they in the truth or not. You don't just go around berating people just because they don't know the truth.
I got a I got a quick example. Using the same thing that you're speaking about there, how Yahushua treated his disciples. This is First John chapter 4 verse 20. If a man say I love the Most High and hateth his brother, he is a liar. So like the scriptures say, like the brother's going into the way a man, the way the man talks, you shall know his philosophy, or roughly paraphrasing what the author was saying in that book. But here it is. You got a man who's saying that they're after the Most High's heart, but they're showing hate towards a brother. That ultimately they're a liar. That means they're faking the funk. They're not walking. So to say, they're not walking the walk. All right, that they're talking. All right, but let me finish this up, and then you brothers can have it again. It says, "For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High whom he hath not seen?"
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you gotta walk this walk, to what's it called, to the fullest, man. Not just like the brother read earlier in that James, not in words only, but in deed also. Don't just say this or that, but do it. You know, that's something that the elders always touch on, man. That the men of old, all right, the men of ancient times, they were men of their that kept their word, all right, and it stems back all the way to Yahushua or Salat Yahweh, because the Lord is a man of his words, all right. The Lord, the words that he spoke, all right, the words that he was talking about, that he would bring these promises to Israel. He ain't gonna just renege on us, man. He's gonna keep his word. Indeed, also, man, he's gonna show it to us, even though it's been prolonged, all right. But that's our own fault, you know. But go ahead, Akil. Just wanted to say that.
Hey, yo, Ash, my Akala got that precept you requested earlier.
Come bring it out.
All right. This is Sirach chapter 37 and verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
That's right. There's one that is what. Salaki, read that again, Babu Shaw.
This is Sirach chapter 37 and verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many.
Yeah, there's one that is wise and teaches many.
Oh, slap.
Yeah, there's one that's wise and teaches many. You know, he's wise. You know, he knows the scriptures. You know, he knows the breakdowns. Because you got to remember, Judas Iscariot, man, he was part of the 12. He wasn't no average Joe Schmo that was following after Yahushua for some food. Right? This man was somebody that was coming up he was the disciple, meaning the student. He was a disciple directly under the Lord. He knew what he was talking about. But what? At the end of the day, he was unprofitable to himself. Not because, you know, even though it was all written so that the scriptures could be fulfilled, but, you know, correlated to this day, you know, all these examples we have, what's the dude up there in Chicago? Nasty Nick, Egghead in Detroit, Element. All right, all these guys showing examples, being wise. They the forefront, dude. Hold on, you know, coming up to the forefront, breaking these. Yardan, you know, dude in Atlanta. You know, they knew they had all this knowledge. At the end of the day, they weren't applying it to themselves, and that's why we began with those scriptures that we came out with, 1 John 3. All right, because what? It's not just about knowing these things. You have to apply these things to the best of your ability. Of course, we're not perfect. Ain't nobody saying you got to be perfect, because that'd be unrealistic. Okay, but you have to attempt at the very least to apply these scriptures, right? We have to try to apply these scriptures, because what happens if you don't? You teaching many. Go ahead, up.
Start the top again. This is Sirach 37 and 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
And yet is unprofitable unto himself, because you're not profiting yourself, man. You're teaching everybody, but behind closed doors, you're not applying what you're telling everybody else. That what does that make you? That makes you a hypocrite. Well, what did Yahushua say was the leaven of the Pharisees?
Hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy. That makes you a hypocrite, because you're being wise, you're teaching many, but you're unprofitable unto yourself, because you're not teaching. You're not practicing what you preach a lot. You're not practicing what you preach, and that extends on many avenues. Okay, because what? Yahushua didn't do that. Yahushua wasn't a hypocrite. Yahushua did exactly what he taught. Okay, he said don't do this. He didn't do it. He said do this. He did it. Okay, this is real quick. This is 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. All right, so Yahushua left us an example, and where are you going to find them examples? In the scriptures, so that we may follow in his steps the best of our ability.
Okay, well, that's what the word disciple means. You know, a student or a follower of someone. You know,
that's right.
You calling yourself a disciple of Yahweh Shem Al Shai, but you're not following after his footsteps. Then hey, at the end of the day, the Most High is going to cut that branch off and cast it into the fire, man. You know, I got a quick precept since you mentioned about the leaven of the Pharisees. This is Sirach chapter 1 and verse 29. It says, "Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest." All
Yeah.
right, so don't
Go ahead. You
go
got
ahead.
it. Now you got it.
Okay. Yeah, so don't be a hypocrite. You know, like the brother was just saying about the leaven of the Pharisees, man. You know, Yahushua said, "Do as they say, not as they do." You know, because they were talking about you know, being righteous and following the law and waiting for the for the Lord to bring His promise. But at the end of the day, they weren't doing anything that it tells of being a follower of the Lord, man. Go ahead, Doc.
Can I read that again, Babu Shah?
Sirach 1 and 29, it says, "Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest."
Yeah, be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what you say, man. So again, that's that worldly saying. Practice what you preach.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a hypocrite in the sight of men. Don't be a hypocrite. Period. All right, because what if you don't take good heed to what you're saying, you're not examining yourself. All right, you just blurting out things that you've heard before or doing it deceitfully. The
Kind
scriptures tell us about these things.
I got a quick definition there for the word hypocrite. It says, hypocrite, one who feigns to be what he is not.
Yeah, one who fiends to be is not. You ever seen a crackhead fiending? They want that crack rock, man. So what? And a hypocrite is somebody that's fiending to be something that they're not. So they'll. That's why Howard side said, don't pray out there in the open, man. Right? Don't be as them hypocrites that pray out in the corners.
Yeah.
Because what? They're trying to be seen of men. Read that again, Bob Shaw, that definition.
Okay. Well, it keeps going, but let me read it from the top again.
Okay.
This is hypocrite. It says, one who feigns to be what he is not, one who has the form of godliness without the power,
Yeah.
or who assumes an appearance of piety and virtue when he is destitute of true religion.
That's right. Because didn't the brother Hanakala read that earlier in James? Deceiving your own selves, man.
Yep.
That's what a hypocrite is. He's deceiving himself. He's trying to be something that he's really not. You know? What was that last part? Destitute of what?
It said, or who assumes an appearance of piety and virtue when he is destitute of true religion.
Yeah, he destitute of true religion. What is the true religion, man? There's truth.
Yep.
The gospel, man. The true, holy, undefiled, pure, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Yep.
But a hypocrite will tell you otherwise, man. Or he'll present it to you as cupcakes and rainbows. Well, what? He's lying to himself. That's why the scripture said the deceiver and the deceived is in it. It's his. That you read the book of Ezekiel, man. That happened throughout the book of Ezekiel.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord would set it up. He said, if the prophet is deceived, I have deceived him. So he could get his judgment, roughly paraphrasing, Go ahead, you got a precept?
Yeah, I got an account. You spoke about the scribes and the Pharisees.
Okay.
I'm start from the top. Matthew 15. Matthew 15:1. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which were Jerusalem, saying, "Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread." But he answered and said unto them, "Why do ye also transgress the commandment of the Most High by your tradition? For the Most High commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die to death. But ye say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, but whatsoever thou mightest be profited by him, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of the Most High of none effect by your tradition, ye hypocrites. Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Yep. And you got a lot of our people, man, the majority of our people, all right, that do that. They draw nigh unto the Lord with their lips, saying, "Oh, I love God and Jesus. I love the Lord." They go to church and they do this and that. And then even in the nation of Israel, man, those that know that they're Israelites, they do the same thing. They draw nigh unto the Lord with their mouth. Read that again. That last verse you just read, Bible Shaw.
It's Matthew 15:7. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
So their heart is far from Yahweh Shai, because they're not really practicing what they preach. They're deceiving themselves. They're just being hearers of the word. They're not loving in truth and in deed. They're loving in word and in tongue. Because you go to one of these harlot houses, these Catholic churches or Christianity, whatever, they're going to be hooting and hollering, talking about they love the Lord, but their heart is far from the Lord. They don't keep his commandments. They don't even care about the Lord, all right, at the end of the day, because they refuse to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. And Yahweh Shai said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Plain and simple. There ain't no way around that for you Christians out there, man. Lord said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you don't know what a scripture I'm talking about, Google it. Go ahead,
But in vain do they worship me.
In vain do they worship me. These people worship the Lord in vain, because ultimately the Lord's not hearing their prayers. Even he even told who was it? Ezekiel or Jeremiah? He said, "Pray not for these people. I will not hear their prayers." Roughly paraphrasing. The Lord ain't hearing your abominations, man. Because what you're praying for is all abominations. He don't care about your kids. He don't care about you. You're worshiping him in vain, and you know not what you worship, man. Even though when Yahweh said that he was talking to the Samaritan woman, which was a heathen, but now we can apply that to you 2/3 because you are considered heathens, man. Go ahead.
But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines and commandments of men. And that's it on that.
That's right. That's what they do, man. And that's mainly for these bug outs in the nation of Israel, man. You got all these guys talking about go to the hood and man, there's a lot of bug outs in the nation of Israel right now, just popping up everywhere, just proving more and more that great millstone, all right, beginning with the apostles and elders on down, we got the truth. All right, we have the truth here at Great Millstone, man. And we're not boasting about it. We're not being proud about it. It's just reality of things. Right? Nobody's teaching what we teach the way we teach it. And guess what? We're teaching the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shai. You either get with the program or get left behind. Because the train is on the tracks right now. It is moving. And there's certain people that's going to grab onto that train and make it on there. But for the most part, everybody else is going to get left behind. Because a lot of people are full of shit. All right? A lot of people are hypocrites. Deceiving themselves, man. Because they draw nigh unto the Lord with their lips, man. But what? Their heart is far from the Lord. They're not really about Yahweh Shem Shai. That's why they teach these false doctrines, teaching that you can do all these unclean acts on Shabbat. Make yourself unclean on the Shabbat, man. Do this, do that. Why ain't y'all teaching the hood, man? No, come on, man. This ain't nothing new. They did the same thing to Yahweh Shai and his disciples back in the day. All right, and then now we're living in the book of Acts once again. Go ahead, What do we got?
Yeah, we can go back to Sirach 37. This is Sirach 37 in verse 20. There was one that sheweth wisdom in words and is hated. He shall be destitute of all food. So basically, going to the point, showing something in word, but that's pretty much it. And it says here they're hated because they're pretty much a know-it-all. A know-it-all. They know everything, but they don't do nothing right. In the sense that they don't take heed to the thing that they speak. You can show wisdom. You can show it, but you gotta apply it. What is wisdom if you can't use it? That's pretty much useless wisdom. You can know as much as you want, but how is it counting wisdom if you can't apply it? You know.
Yep.
Uh,
I got Baba Shah real quick. Let me get a precept to back up what you just said. So like yeah, here it is. This is it's like yeah. Um Give me 1 second, brother Salakia.
Hey, I got precept.
I got Salakia. I got it. Just to back
All
up what the
right.
brother just said, Salakia, because this is gonna go what he said. Because you can have all that wisdom, but you have to apply it. This is Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Go ahead.
gone, because that again, it's not just one to be able to repeat and parrot. Pretty much, you have to be able to absorb. That's the understanding part. Being able to properly execute the things which you have been taught. That's true wisdom. But
Mhm.
moving on to the next precepts, verse 21. For grace, Surah 37 and 21. For grace is not given him from the Lord because he is deprived of all wisdom. So going back to what you brought up in James, they think they know something, but they really don't know anything. Because in deeds they show otherwise. He said, actions speak louder than words. You have to show something. It's not just to say something. You have to show and prove. But the point is, Moses says Mosai is not giving him grace because at the end of the day he's a hypocrite. You know, he says to do one thing, yet he does not himself. So that's hypocrite. And that's one of the things Mosai despises.
That's right, man. Because well, Salakia, you got a Hanakla. I know you had something.
Oh yeah, I just in season 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates, man. All right, and that's going to say, examine yourself, man. What are you really doing this? What are you really doing this ministry for? And like you said, where the spirit is at, there be one that teaches many, but yet is unprofitable to himself. All right, so you got to examine yourself, man. Because once again, you know, we're to minister and to teach others, of course, but it starts within yourself first, man. You gotta examine yourself. You gotta correct yourself. All right, you gotta be profitable to yourself, man. You just can't teach many, because then also that just do not but make you a hypocrite. The scripture said a hypocrite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, man. You know, so examine yourself, except ye be reprobates. Avoid judgment, man. You can regurgitate, you can spew these things out, but is it profitable unto you? Is it correcting you, man? All right.
That's right.
But if I may bring this up real quick, this is Second Peter's chapter 1, and this is going back to that definition of hypocrite. All right, where it says that someone who acts like they got virtue. Well, this is what the scripture said to do. This is Second Peter's chapter 1, and verse 5 says, besides this, giving all diligence, and what's a part of that diligence? Like the brother Kanakala was just speaking on, seeking, examining yourself, diligently. You got to constantly be doing that. You can't just say you examine yourself when I first came to the truth, and now, hey, I don't gotta keep examining myself. I already did that. No, man, you got to diligently examine yourself. You got to diligently try to do the things that you say, man, and following those steps. All right, it
Mm-hmm.
says, go ahead. You were gonna say something?
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just
All
agreeing.
right. This is Second Peter's chapter 1, verse 5. It says, and besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. And let me get that word virtue there, real quick. All right, that was Second Peter chapter 1, verse 5. All right, and the word there for virtue, it says arete, arete, areta. In the Greek is G703. and it says a virtuous course of thought, feeling, and action. All right, so like brothers have been going into, Mike Oliver said earlier, actions are louder than words, man. All right, it said a virtuous course of thought, feeling, and action, man. All right, so you off those, like the brother was saying, off those thoughts, all right, off those aneurysms, all right, is what your philosophy is going to be. Those the way that you your daily walk, so to say, you know. And if you're faking the funk and you ain't got no virtue, it's gonna show, man. You know. All right, real quick, let me read the Strong's definition. It says, properly manliness, excellence. Okay, you see, so you got to add to this truth, man. That manliness, man. Be a man of your word. Do the things that you're saying. All right, do them, man. You know, the things that you're teaching, you should be doing as well. The scriptures talk about removing the mote from your own eye before you judge thy brother, man. Go ahead, Akim. That was all I had on that one.
This is Galatians chapter 5, verse I'm gonna start at 20, 21, I believe. This is Galatians 5 and lost. I just added. All right, Galatians 5 and 21, and it reads. I'm gonna start at 18 actually. But if ye are led, Galatians 5 and 18, but if ye are led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. All right, and like Paul said, I brought on my body, man. That discipline. All right, mortifying the deeds of the flesh. All right, putting those things off. All right, because once you discipline yourself, you bring those things underneath your body, like the lesson Elder Gabar did about a month ago. All right, you bring those things under your body, and you mortify those deeds, of the flesh, and then the things that you used to do, you don't do it no more because you discipline yourself. Like the big thing going around, having sex on the Sabbath or whatnot, defiling yourself on the Sabbath day. Like, we in this truth, we deal with woman, and we know, okay, on the Sabbath day, that's off limit. So what it is, you bring it, you bringing that under subjection, the flesh under subjection. I can't do that on the Sabbath day. And then what? Eventually, every time the Sabbath day comes by, you don't mortify that deed. You put that deed to death. Like now you don't think about doing that. Damn, you don't have to fight hard, to resist to do that, because why? You mortified that member. All right, you put that act to death. You brought that act into subjection. All right. So it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Yahushua have crucified the flesh with the affections and the lust. Man. All right. So us that walk with Yahushua has crucified those things, man. All right. We walk after the Spirit now. We've mortified those deeds. We examine ourselves, because once again, it's constantly about correcting yourself, man. The first person, because you can't go out and teach and preach and once again be unprofitable unto yourself, man. All right. So it says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another, man. All right, and a lot of that stuff go on to trying to receive vainglory, pride seeping in, man. Okay.
Okay.
That's pretty much
Kind of got a quick precept to go with that. What Kanakala was just saying. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 20. Um, 22. I'll just get right to the point. Ephesians 4:22, it says that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
Yeah, and that's talking about really the old man nigga from the world, man. The guy that was whatever, we all come from different walks of life. You got that man had got to be put off. Okay, read that again. What did it say? Deceitful lust.
Which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
The deceitful lust, which is corrupt by the deceitful lust, man. So that man, he has to go. Which the scriptures say the flesh is willing, but the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. So this is why examining yourself daily, working on yourself, you being your biggest critique comes, in such an important role in this truth, because everybody can tell you something, but if you don't realize it, you don't want to acknowledge it, then you'll never change. It's like your coach telling you, screaming at you in your face, spitting on you, all kind of. You need to learn how to do this or that, and you're like, man, this nigga don't know what he's talking about. I know I could still catch the ball, but with the coach is trying to help you out so you can gain those extra 5 yards, but you refuse to accept it. Well, then you're gonna continue to be a mediocre player. Why not be a better player? And that comes with self-examination. You know what? The coach is right. If I do what he tells me to do, I'm gonna get those extra 5 yards. I'm gonna get that layup. I'm gonna get the and one. Just to put it in terms Jake can understand, because Jake loves sports. But so why not do that when the Lord is telling you? Because it's not brothers telling you this, and it's not brothers telling you that. It's the Lord trying to help you out, man. The Lord said, because what basketball teams, football teams, you always got coaches. Well, you got somebody running things upstairs. They just watching the game. And that's what the Lord doing. He gives tips to the coaches. Hey, I don't like how this dude's doing that. I don't like how the team's doing this. Make sure you make a note of it. And guess what? The coach is gonna come down and tell you. And if you either accept it or don't, and then sometimes you might be benched. You might even get removed off the team. So it would behoove to examine the things that brothers say, because at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of yourself. It's to become a better person. First and foremost, like brother said earlier, man, first and foremost is doing this for yourself, to be a better man, to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's something you should pray for every night, man. You pray to the Lord that he makes you a better person so you can serve him better, man. And by default, you're going to be a better brother, better leader, okay? Better teacher. Because it's all about, because the kingdom of heaven is within us. We gotta work on ourselves before we can be part of that beautiful and perfect temple. Go ahead.
Connie, I got something real quick. Spirit. This is Sirach chapter 5, verse 9. It says, winnow not with every wind, and go not into every way, but so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue. That's right. So what winnow not and what every wind, meaning what? All these other philosophies, other doctrines, man. Stay on what that was taught. Stick to the doctrine. Stick to the truth. Because Jake has a sense of wanting to cleave into all these other philosophies, and then what? Now you start to become these things, man. Rather than just doing what you're supposed to do. So what? That makes you filthy. All right, this is verse 10. It says, be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. That's right. So be steadfast in that understanding, and let thy word be the same, which is what? Like Jake said in the world, what? All I have is my word and my ball. So what? Let thy word be the same, man. That's pretty much it on that, bro.
Go ahead, brother. Y'all got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so
Slot. Let me get this real quick. Jump down to verse 13. It says, honor and shame is in the talk. In the tongue of a man is his fall. So honor and shame is in the talk, man. So that's why you got to be low in this thing. That's why you got to be sincere in this walk. All All right, and that's why you got to be truthful, because what you can bring shame to your own soul, man, by actually being puffed up with pride and trying to be something, rather than just being humble and taking a low route. Now what you dishonored, all right, you shamed, all right, and now people don't even want to deal with you. People in the world don't want to deal with you. Brothers don't want to deal with you. All right, all because what you didn't do with the simple things in life, which was be humble. And the scriptures tell you the Lord will, if you humble yourself, the Lord will in due time lift you up. You know, so that's pretty much it on that.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right. This is Sirach chapter 14 and verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he do be good? So I'll read the rest of that precept, but being a hypocrite and things of that nature, that's not good for your soul. Being double-minded, being double-tongued, it says a double-minded man is unstable in his ways. You're saying one thing and you're doing another. That's madness, and that's unprofitable. Taking on and being a teacher, called to this thing, being a prophet, you have to be a leader. Leader is not just a position; it's an action. You have to really show forth that. The wisdom which you speak, you have to show that. And that's the way you carry yourself. And it's not just you speaking it, you have to really do it. It's action, And finish the rest of this precept, he shall not take pleasure in his goods. The fruits of the spirit that the Most High has for an abundance for us, you're not gonna be able to hold on to it because you're not taking heed, you're not really absorbing what's really going on.
And like the brothers going in today, wisdom is a loving spirit.
Nurtures.
So if you hey, matter of fact, let me hit this real quick. This is 1 Corinthians 13:1. Remember, wisdom is a loving spirit. It says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
Yeah.
And though I have the gift of prophecy.
So real quick, that means read that again, Bob Shot, and then stop at when it right before it says the though I have or you were about to read though I have prophecy.
1 Corinthians 13:1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
Yep. So if you can have all those things, speaking tongues, you can even speak in the tongues of the angels. But if you don't have charity, you're just useless noise.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. The sounding brass. Just
hey, and bro, brothers want to stop listening to you.
Yeah.
After a while, it's like, yeah, he got all this wisdom, all this knowledge, but it's just like brass, because like you ain't following what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you said, it just begin to be a bunch of noise, and you're just like, oh man, all right, So it says, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing.
That's right. You're nothing, man. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
Hey, I was just going to add to the spirit, and that's why the Lord said when they came up and asked him, "What is the greatest commandment, bro?" Because Yahweh is the greatest second created spirit, man. Yahweh is the greatest created spirit, man. He's second in command, and here it is. This man actually came down and did what? Charity, bro. He was the one that was being a minister. He said, "Well, I come not to be ministered unto, but to do ministry." So here it is. This is the greatest man with the greatest wisdom, the greatest man with the greatest power on the planet Earth that walked this planet Earth in his flesh. And what did he do? What was his job? What did his mission consist of? And the brother brought it out earlier, to be followers of Yahweh Shai. What did his ministry consist of? Charity, man. Giving, healing, all right? Ministering, man, which means to aid, to the body. So we have to be examples of what Yahweh Shai was. What did he do? He showed, he had actions. He showed how to take the low route. He showed how to apply charity, man.
Yeah,
that's the main key thing to this, That's why when they asked him, go ahead, you got something real quick?
Yeah, real quick, I got the word there for charity in that verse the brother just read, the first verse. This is Greek G26 agape, It says affection, goodwill, love, benevolence, brotherly love feast, um, love, affection, or benevolence, especially plural, a love feast, charity, dear love. All right. Let me look up benevolence real quick. I mean, that pretty much said everything, like you were saying, Kwam, what Yahushua showed us. But just let me hit the nail on the head with the word benevolence. It says disposition to do good, a good feeling, goodwill, kindness. Well, right. So that's what Yahushua showed on to us.
Done. That's right.
Go ahead, you brother. You got it.
Reading on, it says, and though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I have given my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profit me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up.
Oof. So is charity don't what is let me look. What it say? Charity vaunteth not itself. Let's look up that word. I believe I know what it means, but let me just make sure. Okay. Yep. It's let me play this because I can't pronounce that.
Strong's G 4068. Perperumai.
Perumai. It means to boast oneself, to self-display, employing rhetorical embellishments in exalting oneself excessively. So charity doesn't. When you do charity, you don't boast oneself. You don't boast yourself. You don't self-display. You don't extol yourself. You don't vaunt yourself. Because what? How should I say? Let your right hand not know what your left hand do. Roughly paraphrasing. So you're not supposed to. When you do charity, man, a lot of the times you do that so the Yahweh Shem Shai can see it, man. Because what the scriptures say, charity cover a multitude of sins. Now, if you're being a hypocrite, like we were talking about earlier, you're just blurting it out to everybody. Oh, I gave this brother this, I did that for the brother. Well, why do you need? That don't make no sense, man. That's for you. That's between you and the Most High and the brother you gave that charity to, man. Because if the brother that you gave the charity to is not going to say nothing to nobody else, why are you going to take that role and just start boasting yourself? Like the word just said, man, vaunting. You're vaunting in it, man. Because that's you got to watch out for that, man. A lot of people, not a lot, but certain guys do that charity sublimity to boast themselves, man. Because they'll talk about it, and they might not bring it out in the open, but they'll go to individuals and be like, yeah, I gave this brother this and I did that for him. And you're thinking, why is he telling me this? Hey, good job, brother. You give him a pat on the back. But I didn't need to know that. That was between you and the brother you helped and the Most High. Yahweh Shem our side. Lord's will, that covers some kind of sins for you. So read that again, Babu Shah.
This is verse 4, 1 Corinthians 13:4. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up.
Go ahead.
I can keep reading if you want.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let somebody. You got something? All right. It says, does not behave itself unseemly.
Yeah, and it's still talking about charity. When you do charity, go ahead.
Yep. Seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil.
That means it's sincere. That means
it's sincere.
It's not hard. Like the brother Os was saying, if it's sincere and it's between you and Yahweh Shem Shai, that brother, then the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. Matter of fact, I got a precept on that real quick. This is Tobit chapter 4. This is Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. I'm sorry, verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. But thou layest up a good treasure for thyself.
Real quick, what happened to that woman that gave her? I can't remember exactly where it's at, but that woman that gave her all, she gave everything she had. And
gave more
she was counted more worthy than everybody else, man, that was giving all this and that. She gave everything, man. So read that again. Because she did it out at the pureness of her own heart. She did it out the love of her heart. Go ahead.
This is Tobit chapter 4, verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou hast but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what that woman did. And what? She was blessed, man. She ended up through the Spirit, she was blessed. And that's why I said if you have much, give as according, man. You know.
And this is why.
Go ahead. You got it. You got it.
And this is why giving is so important, man. And when you do it in sincerity, out of the pureness of the heart, guess who see that? Yahweh Shem outside. Doest thou believe? All right. So with that, this is verse 9. It says, "For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity," man.
Yep.
So in a time of your need, in a time that you need truth and sincerity, in a time when you know how Jake said, you know, I'm on my shit right now, bro. I ain't got it. Guess who there to provide for you? Your brotherhood, man. Because the whole time you were what? You were charitable. All right. It wasn't puffed up, but it was sincere. Yahweh Shem Shai know that. So brothers see that through the Spirit and what Yahweh Shem Shai put on that brother heart to aid to you, man. All right, because what you need it, and that can all the way go into the day of Jacob's trouble, bro. And because you never know who you're going to run to in that time, bro. The Lord might have you run into to somebody who was in the world who you was cursing out the whole time. All right, and you need it, you know. And guess what? Hey, this nigga just go right past you, man. Why? Because you treated him like he wasn't shit. But the Lord said, "What? Be at peace with all men." All right, if it be possible. All right, verse 10, it says, "Because that alms does deliver from death and suffereth not to come into darkness."
Yeah, I got real quick, since you just read that verse, because it would say alms delivereth from death, right?
Kind of.
This is Matthew 6 and Matthew chapter 6, verse 4. That thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. So wait, what's that gonna be? That the ultimate rewarding openly when you get delivered from death.
That's right.
The scriptures say that store up your riches in heaven, man, where neither moth nor rust corrupt, where neither thief can steal. All right, but going back to the point, you know, you don't do these things to be seen of men. You don't do these things to boast. You don't show charity and show alms so you can get one up, or you know, boast in yourself, man. Put yourself on some kind of pedestal, man. Because a lot of times the rich man is the richest man. You know, just as an example, the richest man usually is the hardest one to give the charity, man. Like the Lord said to that one man, he said, "Go sell." He said, "I've done everything since my youth up." He said, "You need to go sell everything." What he said, he was sorrowful, man.
Yeah, he walked away sorrowful.
Yeah, but the point is,
Well, he had great.
you know, we're all poor, man. We're all poor. In Matthew 5, it says the rich shall inherit earth, like the poor shall inherit the earth. So we're to do these alms and in this charity to ourselves, man. You know, willingly, not to boast of ourselves, but to cover a multitude of sins, because we're all worthy of death. Right? All our righteousness is as filthy rags. But what you don't do, when you do it, you know, you might, you know, some brothers might find out, you know, that's cool. But you don't just go to every brother or just blurt it out. You don't make a video on it. It's being prideful as hell, man. Just being boastful. You vaunting that charity, man. Go ahead, Art. You have more. Go ahead, Art.
If I can say something real quick too, that's your reward.
In secret.
You know.
Yep.
That's your reward right there. When you say, "Oh man, I hope this, I did this, I did that, I did that." That's your reward right there. Because now I'm looking at you like, damn, you did all that. Now I'm looking at you as like, damn, you know, you really did a lot. So that's your reward right there.
Because it says that in Sirach the 12th chapter, do good unto a godly man, thou shalt find a recompense. If not from that man, it be from the Most High himself. You know, so it all comes back. You know, that charity, it all comes back.
And that's if, and like the brother said, that's your reward. That goes to show what you just brought out earlier. It was not sincere, man. It was not out of the pureness of the heart. And guess who see that? Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai, when he was on the scene, and that lady, like we always bring out, the lady that touched the hem of his garment, guess what? He had a lot of people touching him at that time, man. His disciples was touching him. It was, can you imagine how loud it was at that time? And he had his disciples touching, people touching him, and yelling, Yahweh Shai. And it was this one lady that touched him. Why? Because she was sincere. She actually believed and through the spirit and power Yahweh Shai, because that word virtue is power. So she believed through the spirit and power Yahweh Shai that if she touched the hem of his garment, and what? Out of the pureness of her heart, she will be healed, man. All right. It was sincere. It was true belief. All right. So her reward was what? To be healed, man. Okay. But I got something real quick. This is Sirach chapter 29, verse 10. Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost.
And that real quick. So like in that, yes, it can mean it means monetary. You know, lose thy money for thy friend. Don't let it rust under a rock. You know, but it also means, you know, spiritual money, man. Teach brothers, man. Go to brothers, man. Break things down with them. Don't hoard the knowledge you have. You know, don't let that knowledge you have rust under a rock. You know, teach brothers, man. Don't just have all this knowledge that you got, but you don't want to teach them. Go ahead, up. You got it.
All right. I just want to say this real quick, you know, and not just on camera.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you think, you know, only time I speak is on camera. You know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, boxers. You're like, we can fight right now. No, let's get paid to do it. Let's, you know, let's fight. You know, let's fight on the ring. Anytime I fight, I get paid. You know, I get paid to it. So, you know, I wanted to be recorded
on camera.
On camera. You know, no, man. Hey, you know, you know, you should be able to go to a brother's crib or whatever and build with him and not people. You know, and people don't have to see like, you know, oh, damn, you know, you sharing all this knowledge, you building them up. Like, yo, like, build one-on-one with them, you know, whatever, you know, it not just on camera. You don't have to be on camera and just, you know, build brothers up. I just want to say that.
Because the reason I said that is because that we were just talking about story riches up in the heavens. What is riches? And this is considered money, right? Well, don't let your money rust, man. Don't, you know, you gotta invest that money, man. You gotta multiply that money. That's how you multiply them tokens, man, or the talents. That's how you multiply them talents, man. Yeah, you put it. You might put 3 talents away in your spiritual bank account. Well, guess what? Now you multiply them talents by sharing them, and then you might get 5 talents back, and so on and so on. You know, go ahead.
Hey, I got you right here. Sirach 29 verse 11. Lay up thy treasures according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. It says, shut up alms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. It shall fight for thee against thy enemies, better than a mighty shield and a strong spirit.
You know, because when that judgment is set forth, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because counsel is constantly taking place in the heavens. That's right. You know what I mean? When you know, you get into a jam, you know, you might go off a little bit. You know, when the angels up there, you know, counseling the Most High, you know, and you know, it's time for your judgment to come or whatever. You know, they look, okay, well, he has been doing this. You know, he has been he's been giving alms, he's helping brothers out, and then all that's gonna be based off of that, you know, that judgment, you know, the execution. You know what I mean? Whether it be heavy, whether it be light, you know what I mean? All that's gonna be weighed in the balance, man. You know, so you know, like I said, you know, in that time when I trouble, you know, it will help thee, you know, deliver thee. You know what I mean? You know.
I got a quick precept, real quick. This is Ecclesiastes, because like we're going into, this is not about what men see. And me and us, through the Spirit, we did a video on alms. And the true definition of what that word alms meant.
I forgot about that.
Which basically went back to Yahweh Shai is our alms, and that's who you want to be doing
mercy
for, man.
It was mercy, yep. In which Yahweh Shai gave us that. He's that mercy that we got. Yahweh saying Yahweh Shai as an alms, you know, if you can receive it.
Right, bro.
You know, Yahweh sent. He gave us alms through Yahweh Shai. You know. Go ahead, Op.
And that's who you want to be doing this thing for. Okay, because when we read these testimonies of Yahweh Shai, the miracles and the things he did, you got to be applying that as if he's here today. Okay, because scriptures tell you that what? I will not leave you. Okay, I will be with you until the end of the world. So what? You got to apply these things as if Yahweh Shai is right nigh unto you. All right, because he know your works. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 14. It says, "For Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil."
Yep. But once again, he bring that balance, man. You know, that judgment get going forth. You know, angels, the eyes of the Lord, you know, going to and fro the earth, they watching everything. You know, so it bringing forth good works and evil works. Right. So, you know, when it comes time to that judgment, when you weigh out that balance, of course, you know, we'll never be able to do enough righteousness, you know, our righteousness filthy rags. But at the same time, it's still held accountable, you know. But, you know, when it comes time to weigh out the balances of good and evil, you know what I mean? Hey, you want mercy to be shown on you, man. You know? That's right. So,
I got a quick precept. This is Ephesians chapter 2, and I start at verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High. So even, you know, these things that we've been, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, you know, being able to receive, these are gifts. And going into the talents, you got to work upon it. You know, and also we brought out earlier about being unprofitable to yourself. You got to apply these things. You know, if you're not using this wisdom, that's useless talent, it's useless money. It's like having a good jump shot and you don't shoot, right? What's the point of having a good jump shot if you don't shoot?
I got a good jump shot. You always tell me you got a good jump shot, right?
So never shoot.
Never see you shoot no baskets, though. You know.
It's Ephesians chapter 2, verse 9. Not of works, lest any man should boast. So, you know, going into just doing videos. You know, you can, no wisdom, but you're not applying. And who are you really doing it for? You know, who are you really trying to teach? Are you just trying to be seen of men? Are you just trying to be somebody? All right. You know, because we know we're nobody. We're saved by grace through faith. You know, so having this, you know, going into charity, give these things freely because it's been given to you, and knowing that it can be taken away just as fast as it's been given to you. You know,
hey, because the scriptures say he
go ahead, and that's why it's always important to show sincerity. It's always important to show sincerity. You have to be sincere in this thing because you can hide and you can blend in, but if you're not right, the Most High knows, and then eventually in time it will be revealed. You know, your evil works will show because it'll be on your countenance because your heart is not right, right? And then you know, whatever will happen to you, you start getting separated because that's pride at the end of the day. And Sirach, you know, pride is the beginning when one departs away from the Most High. Okay? You're thinking you're somebody when you're really nobody. Okay? And you're forgetting why we're really here in the first place. Exactly. That was the point of spirit.
John, this is 2 Corinthians. I got one real quick. 2 Corinthians 9 and 7. It says, every man according as he is proposes in his heart. So let him give, not grudgingly, or of necessity, you know, or necessity, like, you know,
expecting something back. You
know, you know, or of necessity, for God, the Most High, loveth a cheerful giver.
Read that again, Bob Shaw.
Kind. It says, it says, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully.
Yeah, that's right. Real quick, that's why when the brother Quam had just read, he that it has abundant, you know, to give accordingly. You know, there you go. That's the precept for it, man. He that showed sparingly, you had all this to spare, but you had all this to give, but you want to give just sparingly, man. Well, now you're going to receive sparingly. Go ahead.
Every man according as he proposes in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for the Heavenly Father loveth a cheerful giver.
Hey, and real quick, if I may say this, you cheerfully giving up your time to be, to minister unto brothers, to to be given, all that is a part of that, man. You got to be doing that stuff cheerfully, man. Not just the monetary, like the brother was going into earlier about the alms. It's not just monetary. It's not just the I'm gonna go pick him up because he called me and he needs a ride. No, that's not. Those aren't the only things that. Because see, that's what Jake likes to do. Jake likes to box things in, man. All right, Jake just wants to say, well, charity's just talking about money, and when you need help, I'll help you out with something or whatever. Jake just likes to box charity into just that. Hey, man, it ain't just that, man. One of the best things that we can sacrifice for the Lord is our time, man. And when you're sacrificing and you're giving your time to another brother, or you're giving your time up to whatever it might be, for the Lord. Hey, then the Lord is looking if you're doing that cheerfully, man. Or are you doing it for necessity's sake? Or are you doing that because you have to,
Con, a quick example, you being a father, what they say, all you do is send money. What about time, right? What about quality time, with your kids? You just,
Yep.
yeah, you were sending money, but what about just simple shit, taking them to the park, or so using that example, like, yeah, you giving tithes and stuff, that's now it's a necessity. You doing it, just because this is just what you're supposed to do. But when it comes time to actually being here and, like you say, being with brothers or whatnot, and sacrificing your actual time, which is worth more than money, you know what I mean? Like, where are you then?
Yeah, because that shows you really care.
Yeah.
That's love. Sacrificing yourself for the betterment of the next person next to you. That's love. And you have to show that. You can't just say it. Again, it's an action. It's not nothing else besides action.
And who do we have for an example?
Exactly.
What
Hey,
do you
Spirit.
do during the time?
I was Spirit. Beautiful you said that, because I was just about to say. Well, we went into that word charity a little bit ago, and one of the definitions was brotherly love. What's the greatest love you can show? There's no greater love than a man lay down his life for a friend.
True charity.
And that's what Yahweh did for us, man. Not only did he feed us with his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but he laid his life down for us, man. And like the brother was saying, it's more than monetary. It's more than, it's a lot of things. Charity encompasses a lot of things, but you have to be willing to do it out of the sincerity of your heart. Not expecting anything back. Charity is not a transaction. Okay, charity is something you given out of the bottom of your heart, right? And not thinking at the same time, well, the Lord's gonna cover the multitude of sins if I do this. No, you do it at the bottom of your heart, and then afterwards you do it. You're like, oh damn, Then you like, oh man, like help us in my shy,
Sincere. Hey, I got that word sincere right here. It's in the etymology. It's from the 1530s. It says pure, unmixed. It says sincere of things whole, clean, uninjured. It says sound, genuine, pure, truthful.
Hey, real quick, it keeps reiterating the word pure. And what do we do, or what are we doing as men of the Lord? We're being purified, right? So we're removing those niggerisms out of us. All right, not being what's it called? Not being a cheerful giver. All right, hey, yes, you got to remove that out of you if you have that in you, man. You got to remove that out of you, because hey, you're being purified, man. And if you're not purifying yourself, then you're not being sincere, like the brother was just going into.
Hey, that's right. Because I was just going to say, to back you up, because what are we in? Is this not the house of David? Are not we the body of Hamashiach? So what does that mean? That means you have to sacrifice. All right, because matter of fact, when you get a cut, or you get wounded, what does your body do? Your body takes the time out to actually sacrifice, all right, to heal that particular part of the body, man. All right, and you have other particular things in your body that sacrifice, all right, to heal that particular part, man. So you have to sacrifice in this body of Yahushua, and that means giving up certain things that you feel that belongs just to you, which can be your knowledge, which can be your time. All right, because like I said earlier, these are the greatest things that Yahushua did, actions, when he was on the scene. The scriptures say when he had multitudes around him, he felt compassion on them, man. All right, every day Yahushua got up, all right, he was amongst his people, bro. Sometimes it was so chaotic he had to depart, bro. But the point of this thing is you have to be in. You got to do these things, man. You got to apply that, man. You got to apply the charity. You got to apply the care, bro. Because we all got wisdom.
He wasn't giving them money.
Right.
He wasn't giving them coins with Caesar on it. Like, and what also too, what Peter told him, money have I not, but in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, walk. Hey, I don't have any money. So going into that point that a brother made, it ain't just monetarily. It's spiritual. For one word to sum it up, charity is spiritual. It's all avenues, man. You know what I mean?
Unseen.
Yeah.
Hey, and just to make a point real quick, tying the lesson with what that example the brother just gave about Peter, when the guy said, you have some money, and Peter told him, money I have not, but in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, stand up and walk.
You want me to get it?
Yeah, because then after he stands up, all right, is the point I want to get, really going to things that you brothers were talking about earlier about boasting, because what they did was they gave charity. They gave him something, all right. But
Okay.
Go ahead and get that.
This is Acts chapter 3, verse 6. Then I'm gonna get straight to the point. Then Peter said, "Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, give I thee. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk."
And what did he have? He had the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, man, the Holy Spirit. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And he took him up by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and the ankle bones received strength.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
And this is a man that never walked a day in his life. He wasn't paraplegic from an accident. He was born like this. That's a miracle.
Damn. Boy.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, come on.
Verse 8. And he leaped up, stood, and walked, and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising the Most High.
Keep going.
And all the people saw him walking and praising the Most High, and they knew that it was he which sat for alms at the beautiful gate of the temple, and they were filled with wonder and amazement at that which had happened unto him. And as the lame man which was healed held Peter and John, all the people ran together unto them in the porch that is called Solomon, greatly wondering. And that's spiritual. There's the porch named Solomon. Who came to heal us, man?
Yeah,
Riddle me that. Verse 12. And when Peter saw it, he answered unto the people, "Ye men of Israel, why marvel ye at this? Or why look ye so earnestly on us, as though by our own power or holiness we had made this man to walk?" And here it is. Go ahead, you got it.
Finish it.
Now I was gonna say that was it on that. I was gonna say here it is that Peter told him, grabbed his hand and told him to get up and walk. And then when everybody's looking on him earnestly, he said, "Why y'all looking at us like we did something, man?"
Yep. So the point that I was getting at was that they weren't boasting of the deed that they just did. They weren't boasting about it. They gave all the praises to Yahweh Shem Shai, and they told the people like, "Yo, just don't know why y'all looking at us like this? Like we ain't do nothing. It was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, man." So when going back to that boasting, man, don't do something, don't give charity, man, and then just be boasting about it, man. You know, just wanted to touch that since we were talking about that account.
Yeah, because we're not here to establish our own righteousness. We're here to glorify Yahweh Shemel Shai. You know,
That's right.
It's a great opportunity we have to be in this position. And when the Most High does bestow these things upon us, it's always been about Him. It's going to come out that way. You know, if it's something you do and you know you start talking about yourself, then your heart's not right. All right, Most High, in the day, he's not dealing with a man like that. You know?
Kind of them I guys.
Exactly. You know, me, look at me. I always got to be seen. It's not about us. You know, this whole ministry is not about us. We don't have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding for us. You know, for you know, again, for our survival. Of course, we want to survive, we want to live. You know, but at the end of the day, it's all about Yahweh Shemel Shai. You know, so we take heed.
Because that's our savior. If it's about us, then we can save ourselves. But what? It's about Yahweh Shemel Shai. This ain't about us. At the end of the day, it ain't about us, point blank, period. Because we hope to be saved. That's our hope. But ultimately it's up to Yahweh. You know, it's already been written. But that's why you got to know that it's not about you. You can just be a dirty sock tossed into the trash. You know?
And that's why they say serve the Lord with fear and trembling. You know, and all meekness. You know, humbleness.
Okay.
Yeah, but anybody got anything else?
I think that's about it.
Okay. All right, then with that, Adawan Ratazah Akiyam were edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Hey, brothers, we almost out of here, man. Just keep pushing, you know, and pray that Yahweh Shema Shai keep the spirit on you and, you know, increase you in the spirit and in faith. Okay, because you know, we ain't got nothing else other than Yahweh Shema Shai and the brotherhood. So with that, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Wacha, Kodash, Shalom Akim, Mawatla Babal.
Oh wow.
Hold on.